Hey guys, what's up? Scottish Duck here once again. Okay, I said I'd do this video, so yeah, here it is. This is a Phoenix Wright Rocks video. Now, I did something like this with a Phantasy Star. If you look back in my videos where I basically just came in front of the camera, showed off all my games I had in the series and expressed my utter undying love for it. That was because I had just recently gotten into it, and I have recently gotten into this series greatly as well. In fact, even more so than Phantasy Star, to be honest. I don't know if I'll make this a regular thing, you know, because let's face it, it's not every day you come across a series that, you know, you really enjoy, you know. But yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be talking about Phoenix Wright, or Ace Attorney, for a better way to describe the series. Just going to go for all the games I have here in detail, and my own thoughts on them and whatnot, so yeah. Anyway. Start off with Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, the first one. Now, I suppose a little history lesson first. Phoenix Wright was the original trilogy. That was. There's 3 games in the Phoenix Wright trilogy. Yeah. Obviously, it's a trilogy. If there's 3 games, stay on the point, Donald. But yeah, they were originally released in Japan only for the Game Boy Advance. They never saw an American or English release. But then Capcom decided to port them to the DS, where they actually did get an American and European release. Now, the thing is, with these games, right, you're playing as a lawyer. This guy right here, Phoenix Wright. And the whole meat of the game is you're a lawyer, you've got your client who is being charged for murder, and you have to find them innocent. Now, that might not sound that interesting at first, but god damn it. As soon as you start playing it, you will instantly get, you know, right engrossed in this world, and you won't want to put your DS down. Right? The storytelling in this game is amongst some of the best I've ever seen. And it's weird because it's basically, you get those visual novel style games, you know, where you just click and then you just read the text over an anime still, and like 80% of them are, you know, rated 18 plus. That's basically what Phoenix Wright is, you know, it's just a lot of reading. But the biggest part of the gameplay of Phoenix Wright, there's basically 2 sections. The first is the lesser of the 2, which is investigation, where you go around the crime scenes and all that, and you pick up clues. It's all fairly linear, you know, you've got to examine one particular item, or talk about one particular thing with a character, before it lets you advance in the game, so it can actually be pretty annoying at times, and basically is just filler. But the main part of the game is when you're in the courtroom. This is where you will actually cross-examine witnesses, and you have to point out contradictions based on the evidence you have, right? And I can't say this enough, guys. Pointing out a contradiction and getting the witness to, you know, just sweat on the witness stand, the buzz that you get from it is just... it's hard to put into words. This is one of the biggest reasons why I love these games so much. There's just nothing that beats it. The feeling that you get from pointing out contradictions. So yeah. Anyway, this was, as said, this is the very first one. When they came out with this, there was actually an exclusive case. There was originally 4 cases, but they added a 5th one that utilises DS features, and we'll come at that in a minute. But yeah, this is personally my favourite Phoenix Wright game. You know, it's at its purest form, I feel. Also, if you're going to play any of these games, you need to play them in order. You seriously do. But yeah, I love pretty much everything about this game, the story, the characters. It's one of my favourite games of all time right now, and I've only been playing these series for about a few months. It's funny, because I had more than one friend coming to me saying, Donald, you've really got to try out Phoenix Wright, they're really good. And I was kind of like, I'm sure they are really good, but I'm playing something else to do. It was probably Phantasy Star I was playing at the time, and I was like, yeah, I'll try it sometime. But then my friend lent me his, it's in the drawer right now, but he basically loaned me his R4 card, which is, you know, the card where you can pirate DS games for. I didn't intend to use it that much, I kind of just wanted to, you know, try certain DS games. But let me tell you this, right, purchasing that R4 card has backfired in the most ironic way, because the first things I downloaded were the Phoenix Wright games, and I went out and bought every single one of them. Yeah, that R4 card saved me a lot of money, didn't it? By pirating games. Right. So yeah, I did start playing it, and I got like mega into them. Anyway, that was the first one right there, and the second game was Justice for All. Now, out of the original trilogy, Justice for All, sadly, it gets that fate, you know, like Metroid Prime 2 is in the Metroid Prime trilogy. You know, it's that one game that is kind of the worst of the trilogy. You know, not being bad by any means, definitely not. But compared to the other two, it just stands out as being the middle, the sort of a worse. You know, it has to go to one game, I'm afraid, and it goes to this one. And a lot of people kind of look down on it because of that. And it is definitely the weakest of the three, but it is still like up there as one of my favourite games. It really is. It's pretty much the same thing as the last one, apart from continuing the story. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted, really. And the same can be said for Trials and Tribulations, which is the third game. This kind of should be my favourite because it's got the most interesting cases and it's the most epic and all that. But it's not my favourite because I kind of hate this game because it's too good. You all think I'm exaggerating or something, really, but I'm serious. Like, this game is, I enjoyed it that much, I kind of hate it. I mean, I waited for all my exams to end before I started playing this. You know, I played the first two before my exams. You know, like over the Christmas there, and I wanted to wait until I finished them before I sunk my teeth into this. I played this game for 3 days straight. I missed meals, okay? I missed, you know, going outside with some friends to stay in and play this game. It was that good. And by the end, you know, it's just like, I don't want to spoil anything, but the killer in the final case, I'm not spoiling, right, but obviously there is a killer. The killer in the final case, I've never felt more sorry for a killer in my entire life. It was just magical, it really is. So yeah, seriously though, guys, right, that is the original trilogy. You can get them all on the DS, of course, and you can download the first one on the Apple App Store. You know, it was £2.99, you know, pounds. I actually bought it on that as well as my yeah, here it is. Let me just show you. Yeah, there's the resume. Yeah, there's the app right there. I was playing it. I like to play it on the bus sometimes when I'm going back from uni, actually. But yeah, it's the same great game, you know, just on the App Store. If you want to give it a try, I'd definitely recommend it. And you can also download them on WiiWare, funnily enough. Now, the WiiWare versions I've heard aren't that good. I haven't played them personally, but apparently they implement some weird motion controls, and obviously there's not a dual screen, which, you know, the original games on the Game Boy Advance in Japan weren't dual screen, obviously, but yeah, I'd say if you want the best Phoenix Wright experience, you'd play them on the DS, so yeah. Right, now, there are two other games in the Ace Attorney series as it is, and I'm gonna sort of rant about them here. The first one was Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. This was sort of the sequel to the trilogy. It stars a new lawyer. It is set a few years after it, you know. Now, before I played this game, you know, I heard a lot of bad things. You know, like, you know, just comments on YouTube and whatnot, and other places. And one thing I was hearing a lot, this was the most positive thing I was hearing, was Apollo Justice was good, but it was nowhere near as good as Phoenix Wright. You know, I saw so many comments like that. And then there were other comments on the other end of the scale, which were like, this game is fucking shit, I hate it, it ruined the series and all that. And I didn't know who to go for, but suffice it to say, it wasn't gonna, I was pretty sure it wasn't gonna meet up to what I wanted, you know. So I decided to skip this one at the time. And then I went on to Miles Edgeworth Investigations. Now I'm showing up the image here, right, because I currently don't have a physical copy of this. I played it on my R4 card, but I'll be getting a physical copy eventually, mark my words. It's the latest in the series, and for some reason it's really hard to find. I can't find it anywhere, but yeah, I'll get to it at some point anyway. But yeah, this is a game where you play as one of the most popular characters in the series, Miles Edgeworth, and it is very, very different in the sense that you're now playing as a prosecutor and you're examining crime scenes. There's still some essence to the original, you know, Phoenix Wright and Apollo Justice gameplay. You know, you'll still do cross-examinations and point out contradictions. but there's a lot more variety to them, and yeah, I really do appreciate the variety, and the story. It's not, you can sort of tell it's made by different people, to be honest. It's not as epic as, say, the Phoenix Wright games, but again, just like what was said about Apollo Justice, it is still good. And also, like I said, it is different, so if you've played these 4 games and you want to go into Miles Edgeworth, expect some things differently. But yeah, Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney Investigations, I'd give it a thumbs up. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, after I'd beaten that, I'd finally said, right, I'm going to have to try out Apollo Justice. I was kind of dreading it, based on what I had heard. But then I bought it, and I played it, and at first it was pretty, it was pretty subpar in comparison to the other ones. It wasn't as interesting, and there's another reason why I didn't like it at first greatly, and I'll come back to that in a second. But overall, I do want to say, the more I played it, the more I actually really enjoyed it. The cases got more interesting as you went on. I played it to the end, and I gotta be honest, I really did actually enjoy this game. It is true that it is the weakest compared to the Phoenix Wright games, but I think I'd actually say it's better than Miles Edgeworth Investigations. Right? That's just me. Miles Edgeworth and Apollo Justice, they're just about on the same level in my eyes. They're a lot lower than the Phoenix Wright trilogy, but overall I think I do prefer this more to Miles Edgeworth. But despite that, the one thing I hated in this game, right, this was another thing I read a bunch of comments about and really had me paranoid, and I gotta say, it was all true. That was actually Phoenix Wright himself, how he was portrayed in this game, okay? I'm just gonna take a few things out of context here regarding Phoenix Wright's appearance in this game. He's lost his attorney's badge. He's adopted a daughter who is pretty much too old to be his daughter. He wears hippie clothes. He plays piano and runs a talent agency. They turned Phoenix Wright into a hippie, right? And like all my other friends that have played this game, you're like, oh, you're being too harsh. There's a whole reason why he's doing this and all that. Again, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but I gotta disagree on that, right? Phoenix Wright's portrayal in this game really was, what killed me about it, because Phoenix Wright, the series, it's one of those rare instances where one of the biggest things that keeps me coming back is the attachment to the main character himself, because Phoenix Wright is like 100% likable, relatable. He's a great character, he really is, and yeah, I would pretty much play anything with him in it, to be honest. But yeah, regardless, Apollo Justice, it was still something I really enjoyed. But yeah, seriously guys, the Ace Attorney series, it's up there with my all-time favourite games now. I don't care if I've only been playing them for about 3 or 4 months now. I feel very strongly about these games now, and if anybody out there is wanting to try them, I cannot recommend them enough. I seriously can't. These are some of these games that are just good for being good. Not just good games, but good because they're good. That probably doesn't make any sense except for in my head, but yeah, that's the theory I stick with. Oh yeah, guys, I just realised this video isn't long enough yet, so but there was something I wanted to talk about that I forgot about, and that's the future of Ace Attorney, right? But yeah, there are currently 2 games in the mix with the Ace Attorney name attached to it. The first one actually is Miles Edgeworth 2. Now, I find that one kind of odd, because, it's like, it's a spin-off, but it's getting the sequel more so than Ace Attorney Apollo Justice. Whatever, it's already out in Japan, I think it's actually just came out in Japan, so it'll be a few months before it makes its way over here. It'll be after the 3DS comes out, actually. But, yeah, hopefully we will get it. But yeah, it kind of just makes me think that they're trying to, sweep Apollo Justice under the rug, so to speak, because, as I said previously in the video, fans didn't really light up to Apollo Justice that much, so that's kind of what Capcom making a sequel to Miles Edgeworth says to me. Either way, I don't mind. Apollo Justice does end on a high note, and on a conclusive note rather. So sequel to Miles Edgeworth, whatever. And the other game is one that I'm sure a lot of people, well, a lot of the people in the sort of a community of these games, so to speak, have heard, is Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. This is going to be a 3DS game, and it's going to feature both games. You know, Professor Layton's another DS series entirely, and it's going to just basically be a crossover. Now, Professor Layton, I'll be honest, I've played the trilogy. I pirated them, and I kind of just played them because of this game, to be honest. You know, because I'll definitely pick this up. You know, if I get a 3DS, or when I get a 3DS rather. But Professor Layton, I've never been that impressed with any of the games, to be honest. Right, I'm not gonna get into it here, but basically, I think Phoenix Wright is way better than Professor Layton, in my personal opinion. But yeah, I'll be picking this game up regardless. You know, it looks really epic, and I'm just really happy you're playing as Phoenix again, right? Because I think that's what every fan really wants. You know, they just want another Phoenix Wright game where you're playing as Phoenix, right, defending his attorney. And even though that's not exactly what we're getting, because obviously it's a crossover and it's a bit, yeah, a weird setting and all that. I think this is what the fans really want. It's what I certainly really want anyway. You know, Phoenix Wright 4. So yeah, guys, that's Phoenix Wright for you. Seriously, I cannot recommend this series of games enough to you. You'd be doing a great service to yourself if you did so. You know, they're just some of the most memorable things I've ever played, and I've only just recently played them. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. See you after. Thank you for watching. I hope you try out Phoenix Wright, and bye-bye.